This grand fir is sick, and today we're going to take it down using tools and techniques from 100 years ago. I don't think there's any place in the country that hasn't been hit really hard with some sort of a tree disease, whether it be the aspens in the east or the ponderosas, the pines of the Montana, of the Great Basin, or it's even happening out here west where we're starting to see some issues and problems of disease and bugs and beetles that are getting into the fir trees and the ponderosas. This one here you can see is just not doing well. I've been keeping an eye on it for a couple years, and you can start to see that it's failing. The limbs are dying, the bark is starting to come off, and I'm even starting to see it affecting trees around it. If we look over here to the north, we can see that this tree right here is also been affected and is completely dead. It will need to come down. I don't know what's causing this die-off of our great trees. Some people speculate it might be the lack of having cold winters that aren't killing off the bark beetles. Some people claim it has something to do with global warming. Some people even claim that it may be contrails or the coming of the apocalypse. I don't know. The only thing that I do know is that we can mitigate this somewhat in our own personal stands by getting rid of it. We can take these things down as quick as possible, get them removed, get them out of here, cut it for firewood, and it's less likely that whatever it is making this tree sick will infect the healthy trees that are sharing the stand. I'm going to share a method with you of taking this tree down that I've not shared with you before, using an axe, one-man crosscut saw here, and a high-lift jack. The reason why I'm doing this is that this tree has a severe lean in it, and it's going to automatically or naturally want to fall back into this tree and hang up. Now that's not such a big problem if you have heavy equipment or winches or cables and such where you can coax it into the direction you want, which is down yonder there. But using the old tools, the lumberjacks back in the day had a very clever way of persuading a tree to go exactly where they want it, using a bottle jack, or as I'm going to use, a handyman or a high lift jack. It's probably a little bit difficult to see the lean in here at this angle, but it is pretty well entangled into the healthy tree next to it. And I know I've got enough experience to know that no matter how much I wedge and pound, that tree is going to hang up in there and cause me problems. So I'm going to use a Forester just for fun so we can all kind of know what's going on here. And we're going to measure the diameter of this tree. This tape has a built-in a gauge on it that if we wrap the tree and use the back of the tape, it gives us the exact diameter or the width of the tree, not the circumference. So this here we can see at the bowl is about 17 inches. Not everybody does this, but I sure do. I like to take about 5 minutes or so and clean out around the bowl of the tree. I'm going to be working in here with my axe and crosscut saw for, I'll probably be here for a better part of an hour, and I don't like tripping over things and having things in my way. So I'll take the loppers and I'll cut all this stuff and get it out of my way, and then rake it out with a forestry rake and have a nice clean area to work in. When you're working with these razor sharp tools, boy, an accident can happen so quickly, and especially when you're working out by yourself, you just don't want to get hurt. So a Pulaski is also a really great tool, an all-in-one tool that should be in your forestry kit for all sorts of things. It's real good for chopping out roots. I've got a big root, kind of a stump here that I want to get out of. It's going to cause me to trip, but I don't want to get my axe down in there and ruin it. And that's what the Pulaski is so good for, is getting down there and grubbing. It's a utility tool. It's a tool that's made to work in the ground. This one here is one that I've been kind of custom modifying. This was from Rogue Tools. It was their version of the traditional Pulaski, and there were several things I didn't like about it. Well, mainly it was the weight. I didn't like the weight on it. So I took my torch and I've cut a couple holes out of it. I shaved all this material off the side, got rid of that, even cut some out of the body right there to get it down to the weight that I really like. And for me, it's a more usable tool now than it used to be. Now I can grub this dirt out here, have a nice, safe working area that's not going to trip me up. Looks like they sent the black helicopters to check up on me. One of my favorite tools next to the Pulaski is a forestry rake. This is made by Rogue, or a firefighting rake made out of old plow discs. And it is the best rake in the whole world because those wide tines on it give you the ability to not to pick up a lot of dirt, because I don't want to move the dirt and the duff and the cover. I just want to get the brush and the limbs away. So just with a light touch, just let it kind of float along the top. It's really nice how well it cleans the forest floor of debris and trip hazards, but doesn't mess up all the ground cover. This type of work here, I think, to me, is just the essence of stewardship. Some people think, well, usually people who don't work in the forest or don't know much about forestry think you should have a hands-off approach, but that's not always the best case. Many times these things that I'm doing out here are repairing damage done by poor logging practices. And so when you just see it on the surface, you think someone's cutting down a tree and destroying the environment, but actually what we're trying to do here is to help it. Now we've got a nice even work area that we can get to all sides of the tree and not get hung up and get frustrated and trip and fall and get hurt. So the next thing I do before I do any cutting is I'm going to take all the limbs off, and whatever axe, and how high do you go, whatever axe you're using, what you want to do is you want to cut everything off that you can reach. I'm going to be using a Grand Force Brooks Scandinavian axe. It's a small axe or mid-sized axe. It's a small tree. I don't need a big American felling axe. But what I'll do is just go along here and knock all these limbs off. Well, one thing, I don't want them in my face. It's a nuisance and a hassle. But the other thing, if you have larger ones, if you're swinging the tool, you don't want it to hit something and get redirected. It can redirect and come back and hit you. So the old timers, what they did is the rule of thumb is you'd put your axe up and you'd cut everything you can reach, and then of course you go around the tree like this, and that way it knocks any branches or any obstructions or anything that might get in the way and cause you trouble. There is a bright side to a tree like this, is that it's been standing here dying, and it's going to be relatively dry, standing dead. It's not quite standing dead, but it is probably on the bottom section. And so it will be wood that we can burn in the wood stove without having to season too awfully long. So to take this grand fir down, we're going to use kind of a combination of a one-man crosscut saw and a small or mid-sized axe. This is a beautiful saw. This was a gift to me from my father-in-law, who found it. It's a Pennsylvania-built, still brand new one-man crosscut saw. It's the perfect saw for this job right here, easily managed by one person. Exceedingly sharp. I just finished sharpening it. I'm going to use a helper handle here. A helper handle is a small handle they're designed to use in these saws. These give you a little leverage. You can see most of your crosscut saws are going to have holes, or your one-man saws are going to have holes front and back, and that's so you can use them as a two-man or a one-man saw. But it makes a big difference when you're cutting by yourself. This is my favorite time of year. If I was to be completely honest with myself and ask myself if you could do anything, what what would make you happy? What would you like to do? Regardless, if money wasn't money wasn't an obstacle, I would be out here managing this forest, working with these old tools. For me, it's just that's one of the joys of life. Look at this saw here. I'll show you. So I've shown this before. It's been some years ago, but you can see right there. That's a Penn Slail number 400 Pennsylvania saw, made in New York, Pennsylvania, USA. Isn't that a beauty? Beautiful, beautiful forestry saw. Here you can see the handle installed. It's going to give me some nice leverage there for my cutting. Look after your tools. Man, a sheath for a good axe or a saw is just as important as the saw itself. You want to keep them sharp.
I hate to leave you hanging, but we ran out of time today. I would like to invite you to subscribe. You click on the icon in the bottom right there. It'll give you a subscription. If you'd like to watch more Wranglerstar, you can click up on the video in the top left to watch one of my favorites. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next video.